Hello one and all, Old School Gamer 1971 back with yet another opinion. Before I begin, a special shout out to you Millie and Lloyd. After listening, like, subscribe or comment or do all three. It will make my day and help the channel grow. Today our topic is Amstrad CPC 464, my first gaming system. So first off, this is a do-over. Thanks in short to subscribers Rick and Mikhail, you know who you are. And I'm trying something new here, so let's see how it goes. So back in 1984 autumn, my dad decided to get us, myself and my brother Miles, a computer. I have a sneaking suspicion as well it was for him. We'd never owned a computer or console before. At the time Atari had a console out, but the games was very expensive. I had got like a couple of those handhold devices like Pac-Man and Galaxian, but you couldn't change the game for those. We'd wanted one for a long time, and in 1982 our Uncle Ralph had borrowed an Atari from someone at work, and we played it for a short time. Myself and my brother instantly was hooked. So fast forward to 1984, and we got it early, and it was everything we could hope for. So we got the colour screen model. You could get like a green screen model and one with a TV adapter. It had a tape deck and it was on the side of the keyboard, and we got two Amstrad joysticks which I killed. Story for another day, however. The best joystick we ever had was a Wiko Boss. That lasted for nearly 3 years. We got a few games with it as well. Quackjack. It's like a collection puzzle game where you play a duck. Not many games you play a duck. Sultan's Maze. It was pretty much self-explanatory. You had 5 difficulty levels, enemies in the maze, and you had to get through to the end of the maze. And Hangman. Self-explanatory. You tried to guess the words. We got Hunchback, a platform game, and 20 questions where the computer would try and guess the word you were thinking of in 20 questions. We just used to put in swear words. It was a real kick when the computer used them back on us. And so began my love of gaming. Most weeks I would go to the local store, Dimension Computers and Arcade. We could see the games playing and trying out at the store. And from there I purchased many games, including Ghostbusters, which had a real horrible glitch in it that meant the final level never worked on the Amstrad tape. However, it did on the disc. We Sold a Million and Computer Hits, both compilations. David Thompson's Decathlon, the only game that broke more joysticks than I did. It was a track and field without the license, and many more games besides. We also got a voice synthesizer from DK-Tronics. No games was ever compatible with it. There was a lot of messing about and getting it to work. But you got 2 nice speakers for the synthesizer that really enriched the sound on your Amstrad. I remember buying the Rocky Horror Picture Show, a fantastic game where you had to collect the machine parts before the timer ended. If you let the de-icer run out, then Eddie would chase you around on the motorcycle. You could also get Riff Raff chase you with a laser. Characters would steal your clothes and you have to put them back on again before continuing with the game. With the time warp from the movie, it was fantastic to play. Sorcerer, a game where you had to save your friends. You are a wizard who flies around and your friends have been ensnared. You must basically defeat enemies and release them. With the Amstrad being tape based, you could record tape to tape on your player. However, Sorcerer had some sort of protection. Magazines would have programs in for you to program. You could also buy computer books that were supposed to be teaching you how to program your Amstrad. Being honest, a lot of them were subpar efforts at best. But as time went on, the games got better. Games like Splash, where the magazine messed up and a load of the data was wrong, and they had to correct it at a later date. But with 18,000 lines of code, you had to find 4 subroutines of about 24 lines long each and then reprogram them. Still looking at you, Splatch, because you weren't exactly bloody worth it, was you? I remember Friday the 13th from Denmark. Just got the t-shirt from EGX, by the way. It was like a whodunit where you had 10 counsellors, one of which would be Jason in disguise, without the ice hockey mask on nonetheless. You would have to hit each of the counsellors until you found him. You also had a fear meter on the game, so he could scare you by killing people in front of you. Not exactly based on the movie, but something a little bit different nonetheless. Typed adventures. They were fun, if a little frustrating. Eric the Viking, the Hobbit, Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman and Jack the Ripper, to name a few, and I failed at each one of them. Without a walkthrough, it was no good, because you had to be so precise sometimes with what you was typing, it was a right pain in the backside. And army moves, the first game I ever beat without cheating. I remember it well. So I remember people going ballistic about the ending of Mass Effect 3. At the end of Army Moves, there wasn't a cutscene, just a worded message that well done for completing Army Moves, now wait for Navy Moves. Now imagine that that game never came out. Now I am pissed even to this day that, you know, like, I busted my ass to do that. But in those days, I was happy to say that I beat the machine. I never forgot, and I carry this mentality to this very, very day. It's why I prefer single player, in truth. I still remember that loading noise as it went from standard loading to machine code, waiting for around 4 minutes plus. Now we complain at waiting more than 5 seconds, only to get a read error at the last block, as when you played it last you forgot to turn off the tape. But you wouldn't give up. No. You would fast forward it, rewind it, tighten the spools, turn down the volume and start again. Now if that doesn't work, hope you remembered who else owned the game, hoping that it was somebody like Jake or Mikhail or could borrow it from, and then record myself a copy, and then I'll be able to play it the following day, unless it was Sorcerer, and then you bugger. I had 4 years in Leicester with friends such as Jake Robertson, Jolyn Falkett, who I spent hours playing Chucky Egg, Mikhail, who I played like The Great Escape and Mikey with, Sean and Carl Cox. They're all my old gaming buddies for years to come. Mark Topless, Saboteur, Lotus Esprit, Bruce Lee, and on. I left for Portsmouth and never really said goodbye to a lot of my friends. Now I know not everyone on this list will read this, but those were good times and I enjoyed the times that I spent with you all. So when I moved to Portsmouth, I bought a disk drive and a new Amstrad. Yeah, this was not on the first list that I did. And a device that would let me back up from tape, and I had 2 more years with my Amstrad, and it was so good. It loads up in around 10 to 20 seconds, and I never really made any gaming buddies in Portsmouth. Before I left from Portsmouth, I upgraded to an Amiga. So I had 6 years with Amstrad, with so many good games: Jet Set Willy, Manic Miner, Chucky Egg, Boulder Dash, Mr. Freeze, Bruce Lee, Harvey Wallbanger, Daley Thompson, Barry McGuigan and Dizzy, to name a few. Whilst I wish gaming was more accessible from a young age, I've seen it evolve so very much. I've seen a colour palette go from 2 colours on screen to grow into the vast spectrum of colour we have today, and HDR just takes it to a whole different level. Sprites to go to 3D vector graphics, to go to texture graphics, to the almost photorealism of today. Open worlds was a pipe dream. Total 3D movement was it weren't happening. A massive enemy count was just not possible. With a budget range from 99p for some of the really cheap games, it was an amazing time to start gaming. To see it grow, gaming generation upon generation to what we have today. And yeah, sometimes I pine for those days back. To the Amstrad, to hear the whistles and whirs that pass for sound. I play games on an emulator now. It's what you're seeing right now is me that managed to mess up my phone so it don't look straight. It's a bit on the wonk, isn't it, really? But it makes me appreciate the journey that I've been on between then and now. If you'd shown somebody back then a screenshot of today, they would have accused you of witchcraft and burnt you at the stake. So, I've shouted out my friends in gaming, but not many of my buddies. They're the games players that you play games with for hours and hours on end, and it was always fun and always a laugh. They are Mark Topless, Ricky Kanzik, Penny Peacock, who unfortunately is only a backseat driver, so viewing only, Daniel Lafar, Ricky Lafar, Mark Topless, Kyle Cannon, Shane Herbert and Lloyd Peacock. Latest one is my flatmate and will remain anonymous, so that's about that. I thank you, all those friends. You know, at the end of the day, it was so much fun. The buddies, man, we had so much fun gaming. And finally, Alan Sugar, because without him, no Amstrad. And I really hope that this has been an improvement over my original video. Let me know. Thanks for listening, one and all. Comment if you agree or disagree. Spread the word and help the channel grow. Enjoy your day. This is Old School Gamer 1971 signing off.